Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Buck Stops here. I'm Catherine Murray. Well, we have certainly seen very volatile markets this week. All eyes are on what's happening this morning. I do pre-tape. This is on a Friday morning. And the event that everybody's watching is what happens in Jackson Hole. Fed Chair Jerome Powell will be making a speech. And the question really is, will he be hawkish or dovish? And that's what the markets have been moving on all week. To provide perspective on this, and importantly, where we go from here, and really perhaps even whether what Fed Chair Jerome Powell says or does not say or do, how does that really impact the broader economy in America, in Canada, around the world? And what does that mean for you and your money and your outlook? To weigh in on this, we have Tim Gramatovich. He is the CIO of Gateway Credit Partners and a longtime friend, colleague who I've been interviewing for many, many years. Tim, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Awesome. Always great to see you.
Thank you. Tim, I think it's really important for people to understand who you are and your background. And, for those who don't know, Tim did start his career back at Drexel Burnham, which is a very famous fixed income house back in the 80s. So your whole career really has been focused on the credit markets. And in those days, Tim, it was used to be called junk bonds.
Those days, Catherine, right? That's what we're relegated to. The olden days when we had no electricity and no running water back in 1985. Yeah, we were
Exactly.
just having, you and I were just having a quick discussion about that, right? I mean, the idea is to say we've changed some of the language now. Now we call it leverage finance, right? Which is really a kind of a euphemism for what we call non-investment grade, which is everything double B plus and below from a ratings category, which again is actually an incredibly important market from the standpoint of providing real capital for transactions, et cetera. So yeah, no, I've kind of we've seen it all, right? From 19 well, hardly all, but 1985 through to 2022, and has been quite a few cycles in there with from the 87 crash to 97 and 98 with long-term credit, Russia, Brazil. We've seen the '02 TMT, telecom, media and technology meltdown. We saw the '08 financial crisis. We've seen the pandemic. So yeah, I've been kind of front and center for the whole package.
Yeah. Are we tired yet?
yeah, yeah, I'm tired because I'm
The answer is
60.
no.
But no, I mean it's a fascinating. I mean, you were just mentioning with Powell, et cetera, right? I mean, it's fascinating. Obviously, it's a fascinating world, and I think for investors, I really spent some time over the last couple of years. I mean, I sort of I looked at my market back in 2017 and 18, and I've run lots of different structures from the private CLO CDO business to the first actively managed high yield bond ETF. And really, 2017 to 2018, I became very disinterested in my own world, right? I was like, I think I'm going to take a pause because we saw some really, really silly things from the standpoint of very aggressive leverage, right? Really, since 2009, Catherine, I mean, we really haven't had much of a cleansing, right? It's been a straight up market from the standpoint of leverage. Really silly accounting metrics, from the standpoint of we were joking last time you and I talked pro forma further adjusted EBITDA, whatever that means, right? I mean, I call that EBE or earnings before expenses. It's just
Right.
silly, right? So you ended up, really, really getting to some goofy things going on. And then we had COVID, right? And in 2020, I became very, very interested in the market again. We had a period, especially in March of 20, where obviously had a complete meltdown, in particular in my world, which is the loan space. We had we had a real entry point, right? The market just sort of vaporized. Went from 95, 97 down to 75, 78. And of course, then the Fed and various central banks and government agencies stepped in and vaporized that trade, right? Because it was like, okay, we're going to backstop everything, and we're going to, just come in with massive amounts of liquidity and capital, et cetera. So that trade went away real quick, right? I mean, it went, it lasted 2 weeks. So since that time, I've been
Yeah.
kind of biding my time, looking at all the other stuff to say there will be an entry point, right? I mean, you can't as many fingers in the dike as these guys are starting to stick in. I mean, you saw yesterday we were both looking at going student loans. Okay, we're forgiving student loans. We're going to come in. We're going to, governments are going to then start paying people's electric bills, right? Because there was a big article the other day about how 20 million Americans are behind on their electric bills, and I'm sure Canada is not much different. And so, yeah, so I think we're setting ourselves up for an actual credit cycle, which could create tremendous opportunities. and should also create tremendous pain. So it's one of those things where you have to be very, very cognizant of what's going on. And,
Okay.
defense is really going to be your offense on a go forward basis.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.